Hi friends, Hazel Grace. I've seen and talked to a handful of my peers who aren't sure where to start when it comes to finding a job. They have very realistic fears and questions. Where do I want to live? What industry do I want to go into? What area would I want to go into? What jobs are hiring? What do they require? Would I be any good at it? What companies are good to work for? What salary range is standard? The answers to these questions are going to vary a little bit by where you live. Housing is way cheaper in Texas, for example, than it is in the San Francisco Bay Area. So in terms of salary, you're going to get a little bit of differences there. But I'm going to kind of try to touch on all of this, okay? I'm going to go over my own process when I was looking for a job. So keep in mind then, my experience is pretty specific to entering 2015's job market in the San Francisco Bay Area in search of sales and marketing positions. As with anything college and career, your mileage is pretty likely to vary, but I think the principles here can be used when looking for really any type of job. First off, everyone says you have to leverage your network. They'll tell you it's all about the connections these days, it's who you know. And there's truth in that. There is no replacement for a strong network, and knowing people can absolutely land you jobs. I have someone joining my team in a couple weeks who was a referral, and my dad actually got his current job because he knew someone at that company. But I'm gonna tell you this, it's not up to the people you know to find you a job. If you're still in college and jumping on early, awesome. You have some time to sort of enjoy the process. I actually kind of found it becoming a hobby in a way. If you're out of college and living at home against your better judgment, or you're digging into your life savings to pay rent, you need to treat job hunting like it is your job. My next statement is going to vary a lot by year and by region, but I will tell you this. At the time that I'm making this video, it's a killer job market, especially in burgeoning tech areas like San Francisco, Seattle, Austin, and Denver. If you're unemployed and want to be employed, you're only being proactive enough when you're spending over 8 hours a day applying to jobs, writing cover letters, improving your LinkedIn, interviewing, reading a book on a career area, or taking a crash course to expand your skills. I know some people are really prideful about taking a job below their pay grade, and I understand that, but $40,000 is a hell of a lot more than $0. All that being said, this is admittedly a video about an up market. So if you're finding this video or this channel during a recession, I recommend giving a listen to Charlie Hohen's audiobook, Recession Proof Graduate. I think it's free on Audible right now. So now that my rant's out of the way, we can focus on the actual process. I started looking for full-time work around November of my senior year in college, and this was actually on the early side. A lot of smaller companies had no idea how to approach hiring someone 6 months in advance, when they normally have people starting within a couple weeks from when they start interviewing them. So that being said though, I did still spend a few hours every single night looking for jobs and applying cold. No reference, no connections. I personally used Glassdoor.com to filter my search by region, the San Francisco Bay Area, and ordered the list by user review. So if you're not familiar, Glassdoor.com is kind of like Yelp or Amazon, but for companies. It's an anonymous review site that allows employees to submit opinions, salaries, and interview information about a company. Generally speaking, any company with a rating of about 3.5 stars or higher is likely to be a winner. There are plenty of great companies that do fall below that mark, but I use 3.5 personally as my benchmark to say, hey, most people kind of like working here, and that's pretty high praise for a job. So there's a pretty good chance that I'll be happy here too. So from there, I clicked into every company's profile and read what they were. I was only interested in tech and science, so I would veto anything that wasn't a software, an app, biotech, pharmaceuticals, but you could do the same just for your intended industry. After that, I take a look at the website and scroll, usually to the bottom, and find the careers tab. If they had a position I qualified for, or even semi-qualified for in sales or marketing, I would apply and take the time to really customize my answers to the company. If they didn't have any listings, but I really love the company, I would find the email of recruiting, HR, or anyone relevant to the hiring process and email them a brief explanation of why I want to work there and why they should hire me. This honestly didn't usually lead to interviews, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I pretty much just did that for a couple hours a day. I kept tracking a spreadsheet to mark the location and industry, name of the position, label my personal interest in the job 1 to 10, and how far along in the application or interview process I was. So notice I avoided Craigslist, and I only really spent minimal time on job posting aggregators. I wanted to drive my own ship in this process. LinkedIn can be pretty solid for job postings, but cool positions usually get thousands, literally thousands, of applicants, and so I shied away from it, knowing if I wasn't one of the first 100, my resume was almost definitely buried. Anyway, all this is just one step of the process. It's a huge step, but like I said, I actually kind of came to find it fun and exciting. In a follow-up video, I will take a look at what the interview process was typically like for me and how I ended up leveraging one of my offers to expedite the process of receiving another, the one that I ultimately accepted. So thank you for tuning in, and until next time, keep grinding.